Small business owners, you may have no idea how much poor communication is truly costing you. Yeah, you know your numbers, number of customers you have, but what you don't know is the number of customers you lost because communication was poor. Perfect example. I needed a roof repair, called a local company, a small business that I wanted to support. Salesman comes over, diagnoses the problem, tells me the fix, and I'm like, okay, good deal. That's where the good communication stopped. Imagine that. The good communication stopped at sales. Scheduling the roof repair to get done was a hassle, done via text message. I could have called, I suppose, but I preferred the text option, except the texts were not responded to very quickly. It did not seem that it was a priority. Finally, we schedule something, and the scheduler says the roofers are going to come over at 6 o'clock in the morning on a Monday. And I'm like, great. I don't like waking up early in the morning. I don't want to do it, but I will do it. I get a text though on Friday saying that they're not going to come Monday because they're on a project that's taking too long. Instead, they're going to come Tuesday. So I'm like, great. See you on Tuesday. Problem is, Tuesday I had a call at 11, an important call. And I assume they're going to come over at the same time because no one told me any different. So I get up at 5:45 in the morning, waiting for the roofers to show up at 6. Hopefully they'll be done and ready for my call by 11. But at 6:30, they're not here. So I call the company. I get the company's answering service. The answering service doesn't know anything. So I call back an hour later at 7:30 because the roofers are still not here. And I get the same non-response from the answering service that we don't know. We'll call the company and leave them a note. Except at 9 o'clock when the company opens, I get no call. So at 9:30, I call them. This is the third call now. I've had to reach out to them about their schedule. The person on the line had no idea, said she was going to call the roofing supervisor, which she did. The roofing supervisor then called me. It's now 9:45, and I'm saying to him, hey, you guys are supposed to be here at 6. He's like, no, we weren't. This is not that much of a job. We're going to come over at 11. I'm like, well, I have a call at 11. I need you to get here before then so I can get on this call. He shows up at 10:45. The guys show up at 11, and they get the project done. And they did good work, and I don't want to downplay that. But here's the thing. At some point, I'm going to need an entire new roof. This is not the company I'm going to use because their customer service was so poor. I even called them because I saw opportunities for improvement. And even then, the general manager downplayed my concerns as if they were no big deal. So here's the lesson for you if you're a small business owner and you want to dial in your communication. If you are not sure 100% that all your systems and processes are in place to capture the right customer information and to get the project information to that customer, teach your people how to communicate. Hire someone. Work on those communication skills because this is like the game of telephone. It happens naturally, but there are things you can do about that. Remember the game of telephone when you were a kid? You'd line up. We did this in like 3rd grade. 100 kids lined up. First kid told a story to the second kid. By the time it got to the end, the 100th kid, the story was completely different. That's what happens in small businesses all the time. Customer service, things get disjointed. The customer ends up upset for no reason, simply because you couldn't communicate. So you might think that labor is your number one expense. It's not true. Miscommunication, because it's the hidden costs that you can't see that get dialed in when you capture the right information, when you train your employees on what to look for, what to ask for, and to be over attentive when it comes to project time. Because then, if you do the project well, you get hired for the next one. But not only that, I live in a nice little neighborhood, friends with my neighbors. Got a lot of friends that own homes. You do the job right, you treat me well, I recommend you to my friends when they need roofing work. But this shuts off all of that. Not only will they not get my business anymore because they were not attentive to my customer needs and not explaining the scenario well enough, but now I won't refer them to my friends. So you're losing out on thousands and thousands and thousands of potential dollars in revenue that multiply because each one of those new referrals I give you might refer another couple people. So that's why your communication is so important. It's so important and critical that you get it right as we get into a new year. So if you're not 100% sure, DM me. Maybe we can come up with a plan for you. I'm Rob Hunter, former radio broadcaster. This is what I do now. I help small businesses dial in their communication to capture more customers, more revenue, and have happier employees. Hit me on the DM. Talk soon. Cheers.